Well, good evening and welcome to the ultimate race room shakedown tonight. Team Ukraine versus Team Great Britain in what's going to be the opening of hopefully a series of a World Cup style tournament. The first round featuring Ukraine and Great Britain, as mentioned. We're here at a neutral location of the Slovakia ring featuring the WTCR cars, primarily the Cupra TCR. This event is brought to you and organised by the Kiev Auto Moto Club, Zaraya Garunian, the personnel behind it, and it is affiliated with ourselves, Crest Autosport, sponsored by the GP Box. Tonight's track, as we mentioned, Slovakia ring in the heart of Slovakia. This is the fourth layout of the Slovakia ring, the common layout used with WTCR and most GT racing. It only costs £2.61 on RaceRoom, features 14 turns, 7 to the right and 7 to the left. And over the years it's hosted 7 editions of the WTCR and WTCC. Tonight is Ukraine versus Great Britain, and here is the driver list we have in tonight's races. And we'll just go through the team selections now. On the Ukraine team, we have Alexander Nashchenko, Alexandra Lightshot, Alexander Pahomenkov, Dmitry Odnovolov. These are very difficult names for me to pronounce, so do apologise for that. Dmitry Bidny, Igor Bati, Konstantin Romanenko, Sergei Yaminchuk, Viktor Gorik, Yevgeny Lazarenko, Yevhen Horbanov and Zaraya Garunian. For Team Great Britain, a list of drivers I'd definitely be able to pronounce: Alex Foyle, Alex Ward, Ben Walker, Fraser Rostance, Jeff Purkis, Ian Deeney, Jamie Dory, Justin Welblev, Lee Horn, Neil Crave, Scott McLean and William Foyle representing Team Britain. Particular titles to make a note of and drivers to look out for on the Ukrainian side: Zaraya Garunian is a past WTCR champion, and as is Konstantin Romanenko. You might recognise him if you watch the RaceRoom WTCR eSports series. He's always in the top split, very quick driver. Over on Team Britain, Ben Walker is the outgoing next-gen WTCR champion, as is Lee Horn, a past next-gen champion, and Jamie Dory. William Foyle at the bottom of the Great Britain list there. He has won DTM championships with Excelled Virtual Motorsports, so one to look out for as well. So here we are, the drivers are out on the track practicing at the moment. Zaraya Garunian at the moment quickest out on track, with Konstantin Romanenko in second place, and not far behind them is Ben Walker. So the top three, they're split by less than a tenth on this very wide and fast track. So that's very, very close considering. Followed in fourth place and fifth place by Lee Horn and William Foyle, with Viktor Gorik in sixth place there. 12 drivers in each team as we went through there, and they're all driving the same car, the Cupra TCR. Ukraine are in the carbon grey PWR racing liveries, and all the Great British drivers are in the yellow Cupra. So that's how you know which one's which. The Cupra, 340 brake horsepower. They've both got the same weight, same engine power, so it is all down to pure driving skill. They're also on fixed setups, these drivers are. Throughout the night we'll be showing you the points as it goes on. In between each race we'll update the points and let you know who comes out on top. So the way this works is each position gives a certain amount of points to the driver, and those drivers contribute points to their team, and it all totals up to the amount of what their teams carry per race, and the winner is the one at the end, the team at the end of the night with the most points. You get 1 point, bonus point, for qualifying on pole. So that'll mean qualifying, everyone's going to the max trying to draft each other in their team. And you get a bonus point for fastest lap in each race. There are 3 races on tonight, 3 20-minute races. So looking further down the order, we went through the top 6. Ian Deeney currently in 7th place at the moment, with Eugene Horbanov in 8th. Neil Crave there in 9th in the pits at the moment, getting ready to start qualifying, and Jamie Dory rounds out the top 10. So It is mostly British in the top 10 at the moment, which is good news, but it is all about total points. So it's pretty hard to tell from this perspective, but in between races we'll try and update you with the points, as we mentioned. The qualifying is about to start. We'll get going very, very shortly. So qualifying will be interesting, as you'll see the teams go out in groups, I presume, all drafting one another. So it's a very, very strange situation. I've seen competitions like this referred to as the Internations in karting, where England goes up against Wales, goes against Scotland, goes against Ireland. But Zariah Garunian not wasting any time. He's getting out on track bright and early ahead of everyone, as you can see there. And the other drivers waiting for one another. But Zariah just wants to get out and get ahead of everyone. For Ukraine there. Konstantin Romanenko second to come through the first corner there. And we have a track map here, you can see. So we'll go back to Zariah Garunian, who's going around turn 3 right now. And then a long run down to turn 4. Long right-hander in third gear. And a bit of understeer on cold tyres there, but a late apex is what you want. Round the flat out turn 5, a double apex corner here. Down towards turn 6, a long right-hander where you'll start braking going into turn 7 right about now. Round turn 7 goes Zariah on cold tyres, who'll be understeering quite a bit round here. Now to turn 8, flat out left-hander, then heavy brake in second gear into turn 10. A bit of the grass hit there, but a late entrance into the corner here. Then flat out up towards turn 11. You can take some of the runoff on the end there. You can go flat out around here, but as the tyres degrade or are cold, it might be tricky, but Zariah takes that flat out. Down towards turn 12. Downhill braking. Long left-hander. You can take this in third or second gear, staying close to the apex all the way around. Keep it tight as you turn into the next corner of turn 13. Flat out left-hander here. 14 up the hill and over the crest, down towards the final 2 corners of the track. 15 and 16. I definitely counted these corners wrong because I said 14 turns earlier, but never mind. Into the penultimate corner of the track, Zariah goes. It's a very tricky corner. It just keeps going and going and going, and until it unfolds here for the flat out corner at the end of the track, where it widens out into a very wide start finish straight across the line to start the opening flying lap of the session. Into turn 1 goes Zariah Garunian now. Out and up over the hill he goes. So we'll see if any of the other Ukrainian drivers are drafting each other. Romanenko is not. Viktor Gorik, who's 6th, he isn't quite drafting anyone yet. They're all fairly far apart. They must feel that drafting is not the better thing to do on this track. However, look at all them Brits just sticking together in the yellow Cupras here. Ben Walker, pretty far from anyone, but he's got 3 Cupras behind him. And we'll see on the map, that is William Full, Alex Ward and Lee Horn. Lee Horn, a very, very quick driver indeed, 4th quickest in practice. And Lee Horn is an ex-next-gen champion. Sorry about just responding to someone who needed help in the server just then. So yeah, Lee Horn following close behind Alex Ward in front of him. Lee's an ex-next-gen champion, so he's certainly one to look out for, as is William Fall, who hasn't won any titles in WTCR, but is a DTM champion twice at Exiled, and is currently the championship leader in both DTM 92 and DTM 2020 in the Crest Autosport leagues. We've got Ben Walker just ahead of him as well, who's the outgoing next-gen WTCR champion. But what about the titles on the Ukrainian team? Well, I'm just going to look that up because I was let know that earlier. But we'll skip to Zaraya Garunian, who's ending his opening lap now. So he'll come across the line to finish his lap. And he'll score a 2-minute 8.1, which isn't bad. That's only 0.2 off of his fastest in practice. So we're looking at Romanenko come across the line at 2:07 straight away. Not too bad. In fact, it's the 2:06s they got into earlier. So not a bad opening lap from Romanenko. Romanenko, who is the MSRL, WTCR and GTR3 champion. So plenty of titles to his name. And Zaraya Garunian is the Sim Racing Centre WTCR runner-up. And he's also won the WTCR World Endurance Championship and the RWB TCR Championship. So plenty of titles on the Ukrainian team as well. So top of the pops at the moment is Konstantin Romanenko. Almost as expected as in practice. He was second with Garunian right behind him. And Romanenko has gone straight into the pits. So a 15-minute qualifying session here. He has reset almost over a third of the way through. He's coming to the pits to reset himself and probably go out again. Zaraya Garunian trying again. Now the thing is, usually what we've been broadcasting is the WTCR races on ×2 tyre wear. So they wear twice as fast as the regular tyres do. Now these are this is a race on normal tyre wear, so the tyres will not reach such a point as fast as we usually see them. So on this track, it'll probably take a couple of laps for them to get up to optimal temperature, optimal wear, which is 80%, and I imagine right about now they're only at about 90. That's my insight. That's not fact, to be honest, but based on my experience, I know that to be the case. We're looking at Orbanov, who is green on his previous laps. Garunian went a little bit quicker to get closer to Romanenko, but has not surpassed him yet. A lot of Brits in the top 6, as we can see. What can Orbanov do? Puts himself into 8th place. Not a bad lap from Eugene at all. Neil Crave in a drafting zone with Alex Foyle and others. Neil Crave gets himself into 9th place. Up into 7th place goes Shapojnik. Coming across the line, Scott McLean beating his previous. Victor Gorick, green on his first split. In 11th place at the moment, he's got Alex Ward ahead of him position-wise. 6 Brits in the top 10, 4 Ukrainians. Still looking at Victor Gorick as he comes towards the end of Sector 2. So Romanenko, pole position at the moment, still in the pits. Seems to be convinced that that's enough. As Zaraya Garunian is in the pits as well. We're seeing 2 yellow Cupras come out the pits as well. William Foyle and Alex Foyle. We're going to switch to the map because we can't tell the differences between the liveries. We're going to have to switch to the map quite a lot tonight. Now we're looking at Jamie Dory, 14th at the moment, and he's got much quicker than his previous time, so he'll jump up the order. Let's see if Jamie Dory gets himself up the order into the top 10, potentially. That's a 2:08, and that puts him 5th place at the moment. More Brits into the top 10. We see Neil Crave is in the top 10 as well there, just bumped Alex Ward off. So as it stands, it is looking pretty good for Britain when it comes to those standings. And Justin Welberlove, we haven't mentioned him yet, puts himself 9th place. He hasn't been in the server that long as well, so a brilliant opening lap from Justin of Exiled Racing, admin of Exiled Virtual Motorsports Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione leagues, and he's not a bad TCR driver either. Now Clapham comes through the final corner, 20th at the moment, last of the lap setters. Across the line, he's gone quicker, but it's still a long way off the pace. Still got a little bit of catching up to do, has the Pro Formula driver. Coming through sector 2 now is Shapojnik, who has gone green on his opening sector, so he could infiltrate the Brits here, which is probably not the most appropriate of terms, but he might break the gap between all of them, 5 ahead of him, if he can get a good lap in here. As running wide there was number 21 car, not sure who that was, but of the Ballers Racing team, Shapojnik comes through towards the end of sector 2. We'll see what he can get on this one. See if he can stay green. It's looking pretty healthy. Oh, a bit too tight on that corner. I said that a bit too soon. A bit too tight on that corner of turn 12, I think it is. Over the crest, and it's still green for Shapojnik, so he might be able to break the top 5 here if he keeps up a good lap here. Round the final 2 corners he goes. We've only got 4 minutes left. Romanenko has not left the pits, so he won't have enough time to do another lap. So Romanenko's time is set in stone. Will anyone be able to catch him? We'll have to see. The esports driver currently pole, but here is 8th place Shapojnik, gets up to 4th place. Brilliant lap from him. Breaks the gap between all the Brits there who were in the top 10, and slops himself right behind Lee Horn. Lee Horn, who has not done a very good opening sector there, probably overtaken the car behind him. Is that Jamie Dory? It's not. I thought he'd be following Jamie Dory, or in front of him, should I say, but not quite at the moment. He's ran wide on that corner, so he might be setting up to do another lap. Will he have enough time is the question. We'll have to see. Who else have we got? And coming across the line, green splits. Najichenko comes across the line. This will definitely improve his positions. Up to 10th he goes. He breaks into the top 10. Still mostly Brits in the top 10. But that's a good closing lap from Najichenko. Here is Pahamenkov. Around the final corner he goes. Across the line. And that puts him up 1 place, up to 17th. He only overtakes a teammate though, so not where he wanted to be. He probably would have wanted to be in front of Deeney and Rostons ahead of him. Now here's Shapojnik. Now, we were watching him a while, not too long ago, and he got himself from 8th into 4th. He's going even quicker on this lap by the looks of it. He'll complete sector 2 after these 2 corners here. Will he be able to get himself into 3rd place and make it a Ukrainian 1-2-3, which will certainly boost their campaign tonight? And it is quicker so far for Shapojnik. Let's have a look at Lee Horn, see if he's doing any better. Starting a new lap, and he probably won't have enough time, so this might be a practice lap for him. Let's see if anyone else is on a flyer. Jamie Dory is not, but let's get back to Shapojnik as he is coming around the final corner. Was this a good exit? Nice and wide coming out of the penultimate corner of the track. Across the line he goes. And there we go, he puts himself 3rd place. It is a Ukrainian 1-2-3 at the moment. Brilliant stuff from Ukraine so far. Lee Horn is on a faster first sector, but I don't think he has enough time to complete his lap because the session progresses. We'll have to find that out in a bit. Jamie Dory has just come across the line. He won't be able to go any quicker. Alex Foyle, what about him? Now, 3/10 off in sector 1 and not green, so the 7th place man might not be able to do much better than that. Will Foyle's in the pits. Justin Welberlove won't have time to complete another lap. as him and another Brit battle it out side by side there. Not ideal for that team. But yeah, it certainly looks set in stone that the top 3 will be Ukraine, but followed by 5 Brits, so this could be closer than we could imagine. There is one driver missing from all of this, though. I can't work out who it is just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Brits. So there is a Ukrainian driver missing tonight, which is unfortunate, which means advantage Britain when it comes to numbers. Let's see if anyone else is on a flyer, but there we go. That'll be it. There is our classification of qualifying today, and it is Romanenko on pole position with Zaraya Garunian in 2nd place, Shaposhnik in 3rd place. It's a Ukrainian 1, 2, 3, and then it's all Brits down to 9th place with Lee Horn heading the British clan. So there we go, and a little bit of a warm up to go here. So as we get ready for the race, what we'll do is what most sporting events do, and we're going to wait for drivers to head out on track where we will have national anthems playing. There we go, so the Brits leaving. So we will pause for a moment while we play the United Kingdom national anthem. There we go, Team GB, and we'll just remind you of the drivers consistent in the team representing GB today. Alex Foyle, a race winner many times in the Crest Autosport DTM Championships. Alex Ward, a race winner in the Next Gen WTCR Championships, notably at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago. Ben Walker, the champion of Next Gen WTCR, outgoing. Fraser Rostance, a race winner last season in Next Gen. Jeff Perkis, regular participant in Exiled, Crest Autosport and Next Gen, and a very proclaimed console sim racer back in the day. Ian Deeney, regular turnout for the Exiled and Crest Autosport leagues. Jamie Dury, a previous Next Gen WTCR champion in season 18 of Next Gen. Justin Welbler, a regular runner in Exiled Virtual Motorsports and also runs some leagues for Exiled Motorsports. Lee Horn runs the Next Gen WTCR Monday League and is also a 2-times champion of the Next Gen WTCR leagues. Neil Crave, a previous race winner of Next Gen WTCR leagues. Scott McLean taking part and an admin in the Crest Autosport leagues. And William Foyle, a previous champion in Exiled Virtual Motorsports in the DTM Championships and is currently leading the Crest Autosport DTM Championships, and also a frequent race winner of the Next Gen WTCR and Exiled Championships in the past. There we go. So we are now going to play the national anthem of Ukraine. Quite a lovely anthem, the Ukrainian national anthem. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and brilliant that all the drivers are in unison with one another, with the Brits just driving past them, which is rather comical, but hey-ho, such is sim racing. So the Ukrainian team consists of Alexander Nazichenko at the top there, Alessandro Lightshot in second there, Pahamenkov in the third slot there, with Odnovalov in the fourth slot. Also driving for the team is Dmitro Bidny and Igor Batyi. Konstantin Romanenko, a regular WTCR esports turnout in the top split and contending at the top, so he is certainly one to look out for, and he already has a point for Ukraine tonight by scoring pole position in the opening race tonight. Yaminchuk is the next driver there in the list. Viktor Gorik follows with Lazarenko next. And Yevhen Horbanov, known in the game as Eugene Horbanov, and the last on the list, the man who's put this whole event together, the man in charge of the entire thing today, and a huge thank you to him for putting this on, Zaraya Garunian, who is a very proclaimed WTCR driver in Next Gen, Exiled and such. There's a couple of drivers goofing around out there. It's quite comical to see, but a huge thank you for the to the Ukrainian drivers for giving us a bit of a show then. But we'll be getting underway soon with tonight's event. There it is. Team Ukraine versus Great Britain here at Slovakia Ring. They're all in the same car, the Cupra TCR. Huge thank you to Zaraya Garunian and the Kiev Auto Motor Club for putting this whole event on today. And this event is supported and sponsored by Crest Autosport and the GP Box. You can find a link in the description of these live streams. If you're on Twitch, YouTube or Facebook, look in the description for the link for the GP Box for motorsport merchandise and memorabilia. So as we mentioned, they're all in the same car. Anyone in the charcoal grey Cupra will be a Ukrainian driver. Anyone driving the yellow Cupra is a Brit. So they're to look out for. And tonight is based on points. So each driver scores a certain amount of points, all totaling towards their team's total score. So far it's 1 point to Ukraine at the moment, leading the way by 1 point ahead of Great Britain. Would you believe it? But throughout the night there'll be more and more points scored. You can score up to 56 points for winning each race, and every position down to 24th accumulates a certain amount of points. The lowest amount of points you can score finishing 24th is 5 points. So a couple of the Brits out there doing their laps. Getting a bit of practice in. We can't see the times at the moment, so see if we can refresh that. I'm not sure what's going on there. Keeping it private, it seems. But a reminder of what happened in qualifying just before we get started today. It was Konstantin Romanenko who qualified on pole position, with Zarya Gurunian in second place, and rounding out the top three, an all-Ukrainian top three, Nikita Shapoznik. 6 Brits in a row to line up 4th to 9th. Lee Horn followed by Ben Walker, followed by Jamie Dory, and both the Foyle brothers, Alexander and William, followed by Justin Wellblood there in 9th place. Najchenko in 10th, 11th is Horbanov, 12th Viktor Goric, 13th Neil Crave, 14th Alex Ward, with Fraser Rostance and teammate Ian Deeney in 15th and 16th. Pahomenkov 17th. Batty is in 18th, Scott McLean 19th, and Yakinin in 20th. I believe it is Jeff Purkis just behind them. So here we go. We're about to go here. It is Ukraine versus Great Britain here at Slovakia in. First race of the night. Lights are red. Away we go. Romanenko gets a good start. No one gets a false start. Down towards turn 1 we come. And goes to defend the inside is Romanenko straight away. Into turn 1 we come. Oh, and a lot of Brits going into turn 1 side by side. Through they go, all safe and sound at the moment. This is Lee Horn first of the Brits, right behind 3 Ukrainians. And something's happened to excuse me, that is Lee Horn alongside Shapoznik coming down towards turn 3. He has the inside. Let's get on board with him, see if we can outbrake him. Into turn 3 he goes on the inside, but can't quite make it through. There's loads of Brits in 4th to 9th still. Ben Walker there in 4th place. Viktor Goric has got himself up to 10th place. Battling it out behind is Neil Crave and Eugene Horbanov. It's a bad start for some at the back as Batty and Yukinin is down from 19th to 23rd. Ukrainian drivers there, with Jeff Purkis getting himself from last up to 18th. A great start from him. Lee Horn all over the back of Shapoznik as he gets away, coming out the hairpin. Lee Horn got a bit too close. He's got Ben Walker behind him, pushing along. These two were rivals all the way through the Next Gen WTCR series. Now they're teammates. Romanenko leads the way ahead of Gurunian and Shapoznik. Lee Horn following behind is Ben Walker, but Lee Horn's gone very wide. Lee Horn, what has happened to him? Went very slow coming out of turn 12. But Ben Walker flies away and is going to pounce on towards the 3 Ukrainians ahead. Around the penultimate corner, very wide went Romanenko. And there's a lot of swapping. So, and that's Jamie Dory off the track and in the gravel. Not sure what happened there, but he's going to drop down loads of places. That has got all the British drivers ahead of him now, and he's at the back. He's now got to get back through the pack, and it's reverse grid 10, by the way. So if you're in the top 10, you'll get reversed for race 2, which as it stands, Neil Crave is 10th. Gurunian and Romanenko would just be working together to get away from the guys behind. They will not be battling, presumably so much. To answer to the Facebook comment from Frank Tennant, yes, it's fixed setups. They're all on the same setup. The only advantage is your own skill at this point. Ben Walker is first Brits at the moment. He's been caught slightly by Lee Horn, and Alex Fall has got himself ahead of his brother into 6th place. Viktor Goric right in between a lot of Brits there. He's the one who's going to have to break it up for them. There's 6 of them in the top 10 at the moment, so bagging big points at the moment. Scott McLean back there in 18th has got himself past Batty and has Jamie Dory. So, oh, and look at that, a big lunge from Batty onto Dory, and on the outside of him is Yukonin. But Dory gets past, as does McLean. Oh, and a big lunge up the inside. Dory gives a little bit of room, but contact is made. Dory's not able to get away from these Ukrainians just yet. Oh, and a big swipe to the side for Jamie Dory. Turns into the long left-hander. He's just about nipped himself in front, but it was a little bit of a swipe there from Jamie Dory, definitely. Battle between Justin Welbler, who's right behind Victor Goric. He'll want to get in front of Goric and make sure Goric's no threat to his teammates ahead. Following close behind, Goric takes a little bit of a lunge, oh, and a bit too much, runs a little bit wide. Might he be able to get a good exit? He does, in fact. Justin Welbler goes to a very good exit coming out of the penultimate corner on the track. Will he be able to close in on Goric coming down this start-finish straight? Not working out so far for Justin, gaining just a little bit, but probably not close enough to make a move. He's going to take a look to probably put Goric off, but stays behind for the moment. At the front, Garunian and Romanenko still lead the way, and then Shapochnik is behind in 3rd place, but Ben Walker is not far away at all. Him and Lee Horn pushing each other on, trying to catch up with the top 3. Oh, and off the track there is Yukonin. We saw him just a moment ago battling with Scott McLean and Jamie Dory. In fact, McLean has dropped a few places, so it might have been something involving them too. But back to the top 5. Lee Horn right behind Ben Walker will be pushing him along, presumably. Plenty of minutes left. We're only a quarter of the way through this race so far. And a battle for 11th here between Horbanov, and in front of him is Alex Ward. Oh, and there's a change of position there. Justin Welbler has got himself ahead of Victor Goric, and they're still battling going into the hairpin there. Justin Welbler gets himself into the top 8, and there's a swap of position. Lee Horn has got himself ahead of Ben Walker. Ben Walker's some way behind now, so he must have backed off and let Lee Horn through. They're all on a Discord channel together, so working together, trying to get the best out of each other. But they're not closing in on the top 3 yet. They're not out of sight. They're certainly not close enough just yet. Victor Goric's still real close to Justin Welbler here. Gets to the outside. But Justin has the better line, certainly going into this corner, the penultimate corner off the track. The long right-hander they go. A bit of a nudge up the rear from Victor Goric, but Justin Welbler covers the inside really well. Good battle between these two at the moment. Ben Walker following closely behind Lee Horn. Fastest lap at the moment is Romanenko. He's broke away a little bit from Zorai Garunian, but a 2 minutes 7.5. Real good time. And Victor Goric has managed to get up the inside of Justin Welbler at turn 1 there. Swap positions is on the cards here. Going around the long right-hander now of turn 2, and Justin slots back behind Victor Goric. And does Goric go wide there? No, he doesn't. He holds the inside really well on that corner. Oh, and there's a spin back there. That looks like... Is that Jeff Perkins? It's Fraser Rostons. Spins into the wall, and what has happened to his car? Has it got too damaged? I think it might have. The car's not going again. Oh, and that's Fraser Rostons out of the race. The first and only retirement of the race so far. Fraser Rostons just spun it coming out of turn 2 and into the wall. Engine damage, presumably. I think he'll still contribute points, but that is such a shame for Team GB as one man is down and out already. But he will be able to go again later on in the night. But look at this. This is Lee Horn and Ben Walker side by side. Team orders out the window unless that's a tactical position swap. Ben Walker retakes 4th place, and they are dropping They're more than 2 seconds behind third place here. They are out on their own there, so maybe it's just an internal battle between them. Justin Welblove's got himself back ahead of Victor Goric. Brilliant battle between these two so far. Victor looks to the inside, a bit of a nudge up the rear of Justin Welblove. Justin covers the inside ever so slightly, braking into the penultimate corner. Justin covers off the inside. Excuse me. So someone we haven't mentioned yet, Neil Crave, closing in on Victor Goric. That might be what Justin's trying to do. Hold up Victor so the two drivers behind, Neil Crave and Alex Ward, can catch up. Eugene Horbanov is not going to give up though. He's going to try his desperate to tow along Najichenko and catch up with Alex Ward, but they've got Jeff Perkis to worry about behind them as well. Oh, Welbloove, an undercut up the inside of Victor Goric, and Goric must have put it up the inside into turn one there. It's a slow down penalty I noticed for Ben Walker there. He might have shaken it off already. Seems okay for the moment, still in fourth place. So back with sixth place runner Alex Fall has broken away from his brother a little bit. His brother might have done something a little bit wrong on the previous lap or so, as he's not as close to Alex Fall as he was before. These four, they've done what they can. They've broken away from the cars behind them, but they've not been able to catch up with the top three. The top three have been superb in leading each other on here in this race. Garunian dropping back a bit from Romanenko, who holds fastest lap, but Shapoznik in third place there. Had a little bit of a worry from Lee Horn earlier on in the race, but got his head down and has got away from the pack. Right behind Garunian now in front. He probably won't want to try any moves just yet, probably not till later on in the race, because you don't want to slow the car down too much on what is a very, very momentum-based track here at Slovakia Ring. Does drop off a little bit from Garunian to try and conserve things a little bit. This is Welbloove up the inside of Victor Goric, going into the penultimate corner on the track. Side by side coming round there, but back past goes Goric, keeping a faster, wider line, but Justin hangs on to the inside. Tucks back in, will try the slipstream down the start-finish straight. Will he be able to make a move going into turn one? These two have been battling all race long. Breaking into turn one, Justin's earlier on the brakes. And a slow down penalty for William Ford, might have been running too wide coming out of turn one. Three at the front, just leading things away. Ben Walker has broke away a little bit from Lee Horn back there, but is not gaining on these three at the front here. 3.2 seconds down, in fact. Not going to be easy to catch these. Romanenko, who is an esports driver in his own right. Garunian, well, if you watch the Crest Autosport channel enough, you'll know Garunian is a force to be reckoned with. Shapoznik is new to the channel. We're certainly seeing what he can do. Part of the Ballers racing team is Shapoznik, and they're a good team themselves. Very, very proclaimed drivers in their roster, and Shapoznik is one of them, as is Romanenko. There's been a few swaps further down the order. Alex Ward has got him staying in front of Orbanov, but Perkis is right on the rear of Najichenko. Ian Deeney not far behind Jeff Perkis here. Around the long left-hander they go. Jeff Perkis try and get a few more points. If he can get himself into 12th, that would be ideal for Britain. Oh, and a little bit out of shape is Jeff Perkis. Comes back onto the racing line. Try again at another corner. Real close he is. That's the view from Jeff Perkis. How much will he gain on the black Cupras? Going down this back straight here, not much at the moment, but might he be able to get a decent run? The three Ukrainians at the front start another lap, start lap 7 with 7 minutes to go. So they'll do another 3 or 4 laps. And then it is 4 Brits in a row. Fourth 5th, 6th and 7th. Victor Gorick in 8th place here, still holding up Justin Wellbeloved, and in fact they have company. That is Neil Crave closing in on Justin Wellbeloved, who took a little bit of a lunge up the inside of Victor Gorick there, but Neil Crave and Alex Ward closing in on this battle for 9th. So might it be a case where Justin swaps positions with Neil and lets Neil have a crack at Gorick? A good run coming out of the long right-hander of turn 2 for Neil Crave. What will he do? Will he put it up the inside of Justin going into turn 3? By the looks of it, he isn't. Alex 4 with a slow down penalty. We've seen a few of them, not much to worry about. He's dropped off a fair bit from Lee Horn. He's got his brother within half a second. Najchenko and Jeff Perkis along with Horbanov battling there, and Perkis has got himself past Najchenko. Let's see if Jeff Perkis can get a big move up the inside into the hairpin. He can't quite yet. We'll try a late line, and that is a big understeer from Horbanov there. Jeff Perkis will have a big run coming out the hairpin here. We'll try the inside straight away for this flat out left-hander. He hasn't quite got the car up the inside, and a cleaner line through the corner from Horbanov there. Gets himself away as they come down the hill into turn 11, I think this is. I've called it 12, 11 and all sorts tonight. Victor Gorick drops behind Justin Wellbeloved going through the complex there, and now that has made Gorick vulnerable to Neil Crave and Alex Ward here. If Wellbeloved holds him up, Crave and Ward might be able to pounce. So there's a lot of positions still at stake here for both teams. Jeff Perkis alongside Horbanov going into the penultimate corner. Not the ideal line. Tries an undercut. Oh, and a little bit of a shove up the rear. Gets himself up the inside on some sort of an undercut from Jeff Perkis. Still on the inside. Has the outside for the final corner of the circuit, which isn't a bad thing. No, has to drop back. No, not quite. He's still alongside. A huge gap between them as they come down this start-finish straight. To the left there, you can see the Cupra, the charcoal grey Cupra, breaking into turn 1 much later on the brakes. Is Jeff Perkis. Is it too late? No, it isn't. Brilliant move from Jeff Perkis, who gets himself into 12th, and ultimately more points for Team GB. But it's not over yet. Horbanov up the inside, coming up towards turn 2, a very long, almost flat out right-hander. Oh, and Jeff Perkis doesn't quite close the door, but Horbanov had to back off. And Najchenko right behind him, must be thinking, come on, get a move on. Najchenko, I've got 2 Brits behind me, and you've let one ahead of you. Oh, look at that sideways moment there for Jamie Dory. Oh no, it wasn't Jamie Dory, it's Ian Deeney. But hasn't lost too much. He might be able to catch back up. Jamie Dory, who lost out at the start of the race, trying to make back a few positions. He'll try his hands at the 2 Ukrainian drivers ahead of him. Victor Gorick is still real close to Justin Wellbeloved here. And he's got Neil Crave and Alex Ward to worry about behind him. Najchenko guarding it off from Jamie Dory. Jamie Dory, who qualified in the top 6, will probably have the upper hand of pace. Flashes his lights to the drivers ahead of him. Lets him know he's there and he's coming through. He's got the outside coming down the hill. Oh, and up the inside went Horbanov on Jeff Perkis. Oh, and turned in was Jamie Dory, but couldn't quite get it turned in behind Najchenko. Try again at another lap. Oh, and that's a very slow running Horbanov there, who drops back behind. And this is Jamie Dory now. He's right in between the 2. One to his right, one right in front of him. Can he get the ideal braking point and get in front of them? Into the penultimate corner we go. Jamie Dory understeers massively, but might have just about got away with it, as understeering also is Najchenko. And now Jamie Dory has the inside and has probably got past him. Still alongside, in fact. Coming down this back straight now. And Jamie Dory has nipped in front of the pair of them. So that puts 8 Brits into the top. Top 8 Brits into the top. The top 12. Something happened to Jamie Dory there. He's dropped off a little bit. No, he hasn't. No, where's Jamie Dory gone? I've missed something there. He's dropped to 16th. I was looking away there at the timing screen. Excuse me. Right, well, we'll move on because we're getting towards the end of the race. These top three, they'll probably do another lap after this one. There's a slow running car back there. I think that was Clapham. Yes, it was. Running very slow. And there's a slow Cooper at the back there. I didn't notice who that was. Couldn't work out who that was at all. Was it Ben Walker? Ben Walker's all of a sudden miles behind Alex Foyle. He was ahead of him just a few seconds ago. Now he's got Justin Welbler to worry about. Fortunately, Kevin, RaceRoom doesn't supply replays. Yes, that's a real big shame of RaceRoom at the moment. If it did have them, it'd be ideal. Coming into the hairpin here, Justin Welbler and Victor Gorick. Oh, a big nudge up the rear of, from Gorick onto Welbler. Now into sector 3 they go. So Romanenko will cross the line now with Garunian right behind him. And these three work together very, very well in this race to just break away to 5 seconds clear of 4th place. They will start their final lap now. Back with Gorick. Now, reverse grid is 10. So as it stands, Neil Crave will start race 2 on pole position. Fastest lap bonus point will go to Romanenko. So far, as it stands, Romanenko has scored maximum points. Although this is not for drivers' titles or anything like that. This is all for team and country. For right behind his brother. And we've got Gorick looking at Welbler. He's also got Crave to worry about behind him. And all over the rear is Gorick on the grass slightly. That'll understeer him. Yes, it will. This will be opportunity, Crave and Ward. And it is. Gorick runs wide and he's all the way down to 11th and he's still running wide. Gravel on his tyres is not good, and that's it. That's put the Brits through. Crave and Ward get themselves into the top 10. And look at all them Brits in the top 10 there. 3 Ukrainians at the top, yes, but all their Brits just below them, running all the way down to 10th. Gorick will be kicking himself after that one. Costly mistake, which means you'll start 11th on the grid for the next one with his teammates right ahead of him, to be fair to him, which might help him out. But a lot of points lost as well. But it's been all about these three. Leading from the front, just slipstreaming each other to get themselves further and further ahead. Coming up towards the penultimate corner of the track to finish race 1 here at the night. Konstantin Romanenko. We're not surprised at all. This guy is a true talent. Very, very young driver as well. But he comes through the final corners of race 1 here to win the race for Ukraine. It's a 1-2-3 for Ukraine here. Round 1 of Ukraine versus Great Britain. Romanenko, Garunian and Shapoznik take the top 3. Lee Horn, first of the Brits, takes 4th place overall. And coming through in 2nd and 3rd of the Brits, 5th and 6th, the Foyle brothers, William and Alex. Ben Walker will come through to take 7th. 8th, brilliant battling throughout that race by Justin Welbler, takes 8th place. 9th and 10th, Neil Crave and Alex Ward, who will start the next race on the front row. Victor Gorick, with that mistake on the final lap, will take 11th. Jeff Perkis from the back takes 12th in the end. Ian Deeney in 13th. Horbanov will take 14th with Igor Batty in 15th. Jamie Dory, with a lot of drama in that race, takes 16th, right ahead of his teammate. Last of the running Brits is Scott McLean. Alexander Pahamenkov will take 18th with Nazichenko in 19th. Yakinin had drama earlier on in that race, takes 20th with Dmitro Bidny in 21st, and 22nd last of the runners is Vladimir Klapan. And non-finisher was sadly Fraser Rostons, but your race winner was Konstantin Romanenko, and Ukraine take the top 3. So we will be going for an interval while we set up the points and while the next race gets ready. We'll do that very, very shortly once this race is ticked over. But a very, very good start for Ukraine. Or is it though? Because, well, this is the thing. We can't quite tell just yet. That's what I'm going to work out in the interval. But although it might have been a top 3 lockout for Ukraine, Britain might have scored more points. Certainly is a bit of a catch-22, but I'll figure it out as quickly as I can. So there we go, there's your classification. Top 3 for Ukraine: Romanenko, Garunian and Shipoznik. And a fastest lap in the end by Lee Horn, who takes an extra bonus point for Britain. William Fall is in 5th with Alex Falls 6th. Ben Walker 7th with Justin Welblev 8th. Neil Crave in 9th, and pole position for the second race will be Alex Ward. So we'll be going away for a quick break while we get ready for race 2. Don't go away, we'll be back very soon. Welcome back, and we're back here at Slovakia Ring for Team Ukraine versus Great Britain here at Slovakia Ring. So race 1 took place, and here is the sit rep so far. So Great Britain come out of race 1 as leaders with 343 points scored in total. I'm not sure how that works out because there was a bonus point in there somewhere. Let me just review that. So yeah, they came out with 343 points and a couple of bonus points. And Ukraine came out with 268 points. I'm not sure how that's working there. That's the table I was given, so hey ho. But the total points are absolutely right. I just checked them. Team GB leading things at the moment. But we're about to get ready for race 2 of the night here of the Ukraine versus Great Britain showdown. So drivers will line up on the grid. A little bit of a reminder of what the top 8 will be, if we can quickly get to it. So, top 10 reverse. Alex Ward will start on pole with Neil Craven second. Justin Welbler third with Ben Walker fourth. Alex Ford fifth with William Ford starting sixth. Seventh will start Lee Horn with Shakot Poznik in eighth. Ninth and 10th, Soraya Garunian and Konstantin Romanenko. So here we go, drivers are set on the grid. Alex Ward starts on pole position. Lights are red. Away we go. No one gets a jump start. Everyone gets a good start by the looks of it. Let's look from Neil Crave. That's Alex Ward ahead of him there. That is 7 Brits leading it. 1-7 going into turn 1. Into turn 1 we go. They're all bunched up. All the Brits following each other, and round they go, safe and sound. That's Lee Horn, last of the Brits there at the top there, but 4 Ukrainians in a row there. They've got to work hard to get themselves ahead of the Brits in this race. Down through turn 2, they go. Oh, and a bit of a bump at the curb there from Romanenko. He will lose a little bit out to Jeff Perkins right behind him there, but coming into turn 3 they go. Alex Ward leads things away still. Neil Crave getting very loose on the brakes there coming into turn 3. So Raya Garunian side by side with Alex Four there. He's managed to get ahead of Lee Horn by the looks of it. Yes, he has, but Lee Horn's not giving up yet. He gets back up the inside round turn 4 into turn 5 and 6 we go. Lee Horn gets a big lunge up the inside of Alex Four as well, but Garunian not giving up either. Gets himself back ahead of Lee Horn, still side by side, and he's got Alex Foyle holding him up. Now into the hairpin we go. Oh, and a big shove up the side from by Garunian there. On Garunian there, but he gets himself ahead of Lee Horn there. Brilliant move up the inside. Lee Horn still side by side with Shaposhnik, who has got himself ahead of Alex Foyle and Lee Horn. Romanenko as well, looking to the inside of, I believe that's Alex Foyle, squeezes him on the inside, and it's 3 wide going around this very narrow corner there. Jeff Perkins trying the outside of Alex Foyle, slots back in behind Victor Gorick, I believe. Alex Foyle has dropped a lot of places so far in this start, all the way down to 10th, struggling a little bit, but Garunian, this is really unheard of Garunian, smashing through the pack, not literally smashing, but up to 5th already for Garunian. He's got his way past Neil Crave, who started 2nd, all the way down to 6th so far. Fraser Austin's had a good start from the back. He's got himself into 19th at the moment. But across the line to complete lap 1 they go. 4 Brits at the top. Alex Ward let by Ben Walker and Justin Welbler. Very sporting of him indeed. Very team-working player there from Alex Ward. But Ben Walker's up the inside of Justin Welbler, who got very much out of shape coming out of turn 1. Down into turn 3, Ben Walker nips back in front to help Justin with a bit of slipstream. Ben Walker leads the way here in race 2. Oh, and wide went, I think that was Neil Crave, yes it was. He'll have a lot of dirt on his tyres, but he's let through Shaposhnik, and he might let through Romanenko as well. He does. Romanenko gets through into 7th place. The top 3 of race 1, Garunian, Shaposhnik and Romanenko, doing real well so far at the start of this race. Neil Crave struggling still by the looks of it. Lee Horn there in 9th place with Alex Foyle behind him. But let's look at Shaposhnik as look at Alex Ward trying it with Garunian. Garunian's getting past on the outside of Alex Ward. Will have the inside for the next corner, and that gets him into 4th place. Now he can look towards William Foyle and up the inside again. Alex Ward pushes Garunian wide, and through goes Shaposhnik past Alex Ward. Didn't pay off for Alex Ward, that little nudge on Garunian. But still on the inside of Garunian actually is Alex Ward, and it was Shaposhnik who got through. Down into the hairpin. He's on the inside of both drivers. Garunian will have the inside line for the next corner. Goes a little bit wide, but is Alex Ward able to cut it back in? Garunian gives him a lot of room, to be fair to him. Now they're still side by side, and Romanenko had to serve a slowdown penalty just then. He's dropped off a little bit, but these two side by side still coming down towards the penultimate corner of the track. Alex Ward is on the outside line. Oh, look at that, an undertake from Alex Ward on Garunian. Might be able to squeeze his way back past as they start lap 2, which Ben Walker leads. Oh, and not a great exit from Alex Ward as a matter of fact. He's still got Garunian alongside him. Cannot see one another coming into turn 1. That's how deadlocked they are coming into turn 1. Alex Ward still alongside. Plenty of room given by Garunian, but he gets a good run on the outside and gets just about in front. Yes, he does. Garunian will lead this battle for 5th going into turn 2 here, but because of all that battling, he's dropped off a lot of it from Shaposhnik in front, who is now making his way towards 3 very, very quick drives ahead of him. This would be very, very difficult for Shaposhnik. And Garunian, oh, look at Alex Ward defending from Romanenko, who has got Lee Horn right behind him now as well. Lee Horn will be the one to break things up here if Alex Ward can hold up Romanenko. In fact, Lee Horn is already trying the outside of Romanenko. They know he's the man to target. They know Romanenko is the fastest man on the track so far today. So they need to hold him up. Oh, as Alex Ward slips wide and has to let through Romanenko. He'll try up the inside still. And going into the hairpin, he'll try the inside. Oh, and Romanenko shut the door a little bit on Alex Ward. But Ward's able to get away. But well, probably concede the position now. Yes, he does. Romanenko with a bit of a side turn in on Alex Ward, but gets the position. A lot of Brits from 7th to 13th. Sorry, 12th. Jamie Dory at the back of that. Pack of 6, I'll just say. Can't remember the term for a pack of 6. And here we are watching Ian Deeney being a bit quiet today. He's got his teammate Scott McLean behind him. Scott McLean got himself ahead of quite a few Ukrainian drivers in the early part of this race. He's got Fraser Rostons not far behind him as well. Scott McLean holding him up. Fraser Rostons going to try and make his way, snake his way through all of these drivers here. Get himself back up the order to where he was at the beginning of the night. Make up some points as well for Team GB. As he started the race one, he did retire, but I think he still scores points. I believe that is the rule. Back towards the front, this is Shapochnik. He's broken away from Grunian behind, but he's going to be looking to get past William Fall and Wellbeloved fairly sharpish. Ben Walker has broke away a little bit, a second clear of Wellbeloved. Breaking into turn 3 they go. William Fall covers off the inside. Wasn't looking very, very... Yes, half a dozen, Frank. Thank you for letting me know. I was thinking like quadrant +2, something like that. On up the inside of William Fall goes Shapochnik, a very forceful move, but makes it through. William Fall fighting back, equally not giving him any room either, but still trying it. Is Shapochnik up the inside of the hairpin? No, he doesn't quite make it. William Fall with a brave fight back there to get himself back into 3rd place. Brilliant from the two there. Lee Horn not yet catching up with Romanenko, but breaking away from the battle behind him. Well, it's not really a battle, it is the synchront, I think, of British cars from 8th to 12th. Grunian caught up with Shapochnik here. William Fall holding him up, presumably, allowing Justin Wellbeloved to break away a little bit. Coming into turn 13. Oh, a big lunge up the inside from Shapochnik. William Fall covers him off, but is he able to stick it up the inside? Still, no, he isn't. William Fall covers him off really, really well. Foyle taking one for the team here, slowing his pace to help the two ahead get further in front. William Fall goes to defend from Shapochnik, who now looks to the outside of the XR DTM champion. Oh, and that was a very shaky moment from William Foyle, but manages to stay on track. Big run coming out the corner from Shapochnik here. Is he able to get up the inside? A slowdown penalty for Romanenko would not be handy for him. Shapochnik looking in all directions. Can William Fall hang on to this for another 10 minutes? The first half of this race has actually flown by so far. Into turn 3, no move yet from Shapochnik, and William Fall keeping himself very composed, and wide goes Shapochnik, and through goes Garunian. So now Garunian against a familiar face of his now is in charge of the Ukrainians, trying to break into that top 3, which the Brits failed to do in race 1. Wellbeloved is more than a second away from William Fall right now, but Wellbeloved is catching up with Ben Walker a little bit at the moment. William Fall be praying that Lee Horn can try and catch up with the 3 Ukrainians just behind William Fall, but at the moment it's not happening for Lee Horn. William Fall has got a lot of Ukrainians to guard himself from. Every time Garunian takes a little look, William Fall reacts to defend. That's the thing with these big team races and championships, you do everything you can to defend your position. Here we are with Soraya Garunian. Oh, and William Ford goes very wide in turn 13. Will try and guard off as much as he can. He needs a good run coming out of turn 14 here. He's still side by side with Garunian, and Garunian slots back behind. Very, very well recovered from William Foyle. Now let's take a look. This is the angle. This is the view of William Foyle from Soraya's car. He'll take a lunge up the inside going into turn 1. A big, big slipstream. Very much outbrakes himself, and Garunian will go wide. Is he able to keep it on the track? Yes, he is. Just about. That was a very close moment for Soraya there. That nearly cost him big, big points. But now it's back in the hands of Shaproznik, who will have to try and get William Foyle again. And if it's not him, it'll be Romanenko, the race 1 winner. But these 3 Ukrainians are now more than 3 seconds behind the current leader of the race, Ben Walker. Oh, and wide goes Shaproznik, trying to get everything he can out of that car to catch up with William Foyle. Drops off a little bit, in fact. Oh, someone was wide there. I think that's Ben Walker. Ben Walker's off the track. I am not sure what's happened to him there. Can't get a replay, sadly, but he's all the way off the track. He might have hit the grass breaking into turn 6 and might have put it wide on. The leader, Ben Walker, as Costello and William Foyle is losing positions now. We've lost, we've missed everything. So sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the way RaceRoom is. But all 3 of them have passed William Foyle. It might have distracted William that Ben Walker had went wide and has lost the positions to the 3 Ukrainians who finished 1, 2, 3 in race 1. They're carrying the team at the moment, but there's a lot of Brits between them and the next Ukrainian driver, 13th of Victor Goric. So it's still big, big points for Britain being scored here today. But the man in the lead at the moment is Justin Welbelev. Now, if he can hang on for 7 minutes, 2.5 seconds is the gap between him and this man here, Romanenko. It'll be a win for GB. Oil on the track, maybe, Frank, maybe. Now, what will these 3 do? There's no ballast after each race, like what we've seen in other WTCR leagues. So it's all fairly even. Romanenko has a very quick car underneath him. Try desperately to catch up with Justin Welbelev, but what will these drivers do? Will they swap positions to try and draft each other, or will they just push each other along? Either way, William Foyle, who did lose out to these 3, I don't think he's going to give up anytime soon. We'll see what he can do. He's got Lee Horn closing in behind as well. A pretty impressive comeback from Lee Horn at the moment. But let's have a look further down the orders. Look at all these Brits battling out for, I think it's 7th place. Ben Walker back in amongst it. We've got Victor Goric there splitting Alex Foyle and Ian Deeney. It'll certainly do good points if Ian Deeney can get his way past Victor Goric ahead. But Goric is the only thing that's going to help Ukraine score more points than the Brits, is if he try and gets past all of these in front of him. They're all top and tailing with one another, which is not ideal. As Victor Goric gets up the inside very cunningly of Alex Foyle here. Foyle guarding him off a little bit, going round the long left-hander now as we come up towards turn 14, 13, 12, and 10. This corner's had a different number every time. Oh, Goric, a big lunge up the inside. Great move from Victor Goric. He might have gone too wide, though, as Alex Foyle will now to get the undercut. It's not the most satisfying of camera angles, that one, but Foyle gets himself back ahead, and now Ian Deeney is close to Victor Goric. Meanwhile, back at the front, Romanenko is closing in very, very rapidly to Justin Welbelev, nearly within a second. William Foyle's not giving up back there, but he needs Welbelev to hold up the Ukrainians once they've caught him, because it looks like they may. Back with Victor Gorick ahead of Ian Deeney. We also got to look at Scott McLean, who's battling with Pahamenkov. There was a bit of a wide occurrence there from Orbanov, and there's a car going in the pits. There's Yukonin. Yukonin's going in the pits, so that'll concede more points for Ukraine. That'll mean Fraser Rostons gets past and into 19th. More points for Britain it is. Look at all these Brits battling it out. Got to be very careful with Victor Gorick not far away at all. And we got to get back to the front as Justin Welblove is being rapidly caught by Romanenko. Justin's done very well to get in that position, inherently a little bit by Ben Walker running wide. But if I know Justin, and I know Justin well, he's hard to overtake. He will battle every millimetre of the track ahead of Romanenko. So let's see how we get on. This is now the view from Romanenko, already taking a lunge into the hairpin, and in fact puts Justin offline a little bit. Justin's able to get back in front, but it might take just one little nudge like that for Romanenko to get in front. Down towards the hairpin, Justin takes normal line and then cuts in to guard the inside. He runs very wide, and Romanenko has much more grip on the inside there. Justin will have the inside for the next corner though. Is he able to guard it off? Yes, he closes off the line to keep Romanenko behind. This is real dirty driving from everyone today for King and Country. Into the penultimate corner of the track, turn 13, and Welblove guarding the inside from Romanenko. Keeps it tight on the inside. No, he doesn't. Romanenko gets it up the inside, and now the run down to turn 1 is on. The latest of the breakers will get into turn 1 first. Welblove actually gets back in front of Romanenko, actually going around turn 14. And we got to look as William Fall is right on the rear as well. Lee Horn hasn't quite caught up, but William Fall is back with these 3 ahead of him. Late break in into turn 1. Romanenko will try the undercut, but Justin takes a wider exit. Oh, and he's guarding off the inside. Romanenko has just about found the inside. Oh, and showing it off is Justin Welblove. Does not let him have it. Look at that. William Full has got himself ahead of Zaraya Garunian. Big drama here for Ukraine. But they might well take the lead here as Romanenko has got the inside going into turn 3 now. Here they come. Late break in, Romanenko gets later break in, and look around the outside is Shaposhnik, but Welblove gets the undercut, back in front. Brilliant move from Justin Welblove, and hit wide now by Romanenko. Going around turn 4 they go, side by side between all of them. Still alongside and no longer Justin Welblove hangs on to the position. Going into turn 6 they go, around the outside is Shaposhnik, and Welblove runs wide to cut him off. It's 3 wide now coming round the corner. Welblove still in first place, shuts it off. Into the hairpin they go, and look at the inside. Oh, Shaposhnik hits Justin very wide there. That was a bit naughty. I know it was a bit argy-bargy, but that was much. And it's still not over. Justin Welblove back up the inside of first place. Now running down to the hairpin they'll go. Shaposhnik is into first place at the moment. Here they go, down the hill. Oh, and they're all nudging each other. And look at that, Romanenko gets alongside Justin. And William Full is in amongst it as well. It is like old BTCC. It's going to end up like Soper and Cleland, I know it is. But William Full is also there in 4th. Lee Horn has caught up to the back of this train as well. Up the inside goes Romanenko, but can't quite make it. Oh, but Welblove runs wide. Oh, and William Fall gets a big shunt up the rear of Welblove, and William Fall stays ahead of Zaraya Garunian. Running very wide there was Romanenko, but he gets himself into 2nd place. The Brits are dropping a few points here. Very, very exciting. William Fall. Now, will Justin concede the position to William? No, he doesn't. But Lee Horn has found himself past Zaraya Garunian as well. I completely missed that. It just completely, like a ghost, Lee Horn was getting past Zaraya there, so that'll help you, Team GB, significantly there, him getting past Garunian, demoting him to 6th, but there's still one more lap to go in this race. And on the inside is Foyle. He'll get past Welblove, and Welblove will let him go. Foyle will try one more time to catch up with them two up front, but he messed up the hairpin a little bit there, did William Foyle. They'll go side by side in unison to guard off the positions from Zaraya Garunian, who's going to try every angle he can. Oh, and they're hitting each other as Team GB. Not the time to be doing that. Zaraya Garunian is alongside Lee Horn, who will be shouting at his teammates right now. Into the hairpin. Garunian gets the inside of Lee Horn, who will have the better run out of it. At the moment, Shapoznik is the leader, and as it stands, race winner. Lee Horn gets himself back in front of Zaraya Garunian. Down into the hairpin. Lee Horn goes to defend. Garunian tucks back in. This has been a thrilling race, though, between these 6 drivers. Hats off to them. And Lee Horn will guard the inside going into turn 13. Final time. A brilliant comeback to take 5th at the moment as it stands for Lee Horn. Is Zaraya able to get round the outside? No, but we will try the undercut now. It's probably not going to be enough. We have to cut to the leaders as Nikita Shapoznik, teammates with Romanenko, will take the win here in the race 2. Romanenko takes 2nd with Justin Welbler, valiant battling in 3rd place. William Foyle taking 4th, and Lee Horn 5th for Britain. 6th for Ukraine is Zaraya Garunian. Then 5 Brits in a row: Crave, Perkis, Dory, Ward rounding out the top 10, so he'll start on pole position for race 3. Alex Foyle takes 11th with Victor Gorick in 12th in the end. Ian Deeney stayed behind Gorick to take 13th. Pahamenkov in 14th. Scott McLean, a big improvement in positions for him, to take 15th. Horbanov takes 16th with Nazhichenko in 17th. Fraser Ostens from the back to 18th. Igor Batty in 19th. 20th Yakinin. Dimitro Bidny in 21st. 22nd was Volodymyr Klapan, and non-finisher Ben Walker. His luck runs out after the next gen season. I have been saying you'll run out of luck eventually, but it comes tonight, unfortunately for him. Running wide whilst in the lead. It might have been a puncture. But your race winner, Nikita Shapoznik, takes the win here. So we will be going for another interval once the results are classified. And once they are at the end of this, we'll go for a quick interval so I can figure out the points. Hopefully it'll better this time. Yes, John Dowling in the comments on Facebook. It was a bit of an elbows out race. But the thing is, when you're in such a big team in touring car racing, it's more elbows out because you're defending it for your team. It was a very exciting race. One of the most exciting, thrilling races I've seen for a long time. But your winner, Shapoznik, in 1st with Romanenko taking 2nd, and fastest lap, a bonus point for Ukraine. Justin Welbeloved there in 3rd place with William Foyle in 4th place. Lee Horn will take 5th with Zaraya Garunian 6th. 7th Neil Crave with Jack Perkis in 8th. Jamie Dory and Alex Ward 9th and 10th, who will start on the front row for race 3. So we're going to go away for a quick interval. We'll be back very soon with the final race of the night. Don't go away. Welcome back to Slovakia Ring for the Team Ukraine versus Team Great Britain TCR Showdown, a World Cup style tournament in the making here at Slovakia Ring. The event organised by Ukraine's own Zaraya Garunian of the Kiev Auto Motor Club. The event supported by us at Crest Autosport and sponsored by the GP Box, the Motorsport merchandise marketplace. So Race 2 was entertaining, wasn't it? Lots of elbows out action. Unbelievable to watch. Race 1 was a little bit of a, stay in your qualifying position kind of race. But Race 2, it really did mix things up with the reverse 10 grid. We'll go through the grid for the next race very soon, but we'll go through the points as it stands. So, Team GB are definitely doing well tonight. More points scored in that second race than they did in the first race. Less scored by Ukraine. So, despite Ukraine qualifying on pole, they scored less points in the opening race of the night with 267 points. And then 256 points in race 2. Team GB with a lot of drivers in the top 12, I might add, scored many points in 341 in race 1 and 352 in race 2, totaling 694. So a long way ahead of Ukraine at the moment, but all can change in one race. You can see there was almost 100 points between Ukraine and GB in race 2. It could be the other way round for these teams going into race 3, and it could all change. If it's a tiebreaker, if there's a tie situation, I don't know what the tiebreaker would be. So let's hope they don't end up on even points. But it is advantage Team GB at the moment. Here are the teams for both countries today. And the ones that have been at the front dominating things: Justin Welbelev, Lee Horn and William Fall. And for a moment, Ben Walker of Team GB definitely waving the flag at the front at the moment for those for the Team GB, but in Team Ukraine it's been all about Konstantin Romanenko, Zaraya Garunian, and not on this list because he was a bit of a wild card and last minute entry, but Nikita Shaposhnik, teammate of Romanenko in the real world of sim racing, that is. But drivers getting a little bit more practice as we get ready for race 3 coming up very shortly. So we'll just remind you of the results of the previous race. So there we go. Shaposhnik took the win with Romanenko in second place, taking the bonus point as well for fastest lap. Justin Welbelev led the majority of the race but could not hold off the two Ukrainians. Big battle towards the end of the race, takes third in the end with William Fall in fourth place, with compatriot Lee Horn following on in fifth place. Zaraya Garunian couldn't do enough to get himself ahead of the three Brits ahead, finishes sixth. Seventh and eighth, Crave and Perkis. Perkis, who's been climbing up the order throughout the night. Brilliant performance from him tonight. Jamie Dory also been climbing up since the drama early on in race 1 in ninth there. Puts himself on the front row, second on the grid for race 3 coming up in just less than 2 minutes time. And Alex Ward takes 10th place. Will start race 3 on pole position. Alex Fall in 11th. With Victor Gorick in 12th. Ian Deeney took 13th with Pahamenkov in 14th. Scott McLean taking 15th with Horbanov in 16th. 17th to Nachichenko, and Fraser Rostons took 18th, with Batty in 19th and Yakinen in 20th. A non-finisher down in 23rd was Ben Walker, who went wide whilst in the lead, presumably a puncture, and retired out of the race. But race 3 coming up, this would be the one that the teams need to hook up well. The Brits have been doing very, very well so far in just getting all their drivers into the top 12 mostly, and that's what's got them the most points. Many, many points clear at the moment. Oh, wrong points chart. There we go. That was my DTM Championship points chart. But yeah, 694 points, just shy of 700 for Team GB. Ukraine on 525. They've got a lot of work to do in race 3 to close that up. But it is possible. It really is possible for them to do it. So here we go, we're going to line up on the grid, ready for race 3 here of Ukraine versus Team Great Britain here at Slovakia Ring. Drivers line up on the grid for the final race of the night in what's hoping to be a World Cup style tournament in the making, potentially a pilot for such a championship. Team GB would go through as it stands, but there's one more race to go. The drivers line up on the grid. Alex Ward is on pole position. Jamie Dory is second. Lights are red. Away we go. And it's a good start from Alex Ward. 4 Brits in the top 4, starting off and stay in the top 4 at the moment. You've got Soraya Garunian just behind them, who'll try and get past them very, very quickly. Coming into turn 1 we go. Alex Ward leads the way. Soraya Garunian's on the outside of a couple of Brits there. Oh, and there's a bit of contact already. Justin Welbler run wide, and Shapochnik and Romanenko get past right away. Alex Fall is on his inside. Coming down towards turn 2 they go. Ward still leads. Got Jamie Dory and Neil Cray side by side, but that is Garunian on the inside. It's a 3-wide situation coming into turn 3. Garunian tight on the inside. Out brakes. And he just about gets in front. Going around turn 3 they go, and he's up the inside already of second place, Alex Ward, as Ward tries to close him off. Brilliant opening lap from Soraya Garunian. Not quite past Alex Ward yet, but we'll probably get past him coming into the next corner here. Breaking into turn 6. Oh, and Garunian goes wide. There was no contact there. He slipped wide himself, and up the inside of Jamie Dory is Romanenko. Already into 3rd place. Brilliant start from Ukraine here. And that back there is Shapochnik as well. He's up the inside of Lee Horn and William Foyle. Victor Gorik's doing well as well. He's into 9th place already as a good start for Ukraine. On board with Shapochnik, the race 2 winner. Got Alex Fall alongside him, I believe. No longer. Guarding off from Victor Gorik. But a brilliant start for Garunian. Try and catch up with Jeff Perkis now. Jeff Perkis, I wonder what Jeff Perkis is going to be like in this sort of a situation, because normally Jeff is a bit, whatever about things. But what will it be when it's for country? Alex Ward has dropped a few positions, to say the least, on this lap. He's down to 6th already, guarding in front of Shapochnik here, keeping him on the outside. Following William Fall around the corner now is Alex Ward, stays ahead. Victor Gorik with a very good start gets himself up to 9th, and Yakinin, who started 20th, is up to 14th. A brilliant start for him, just ahead of Scott McLean there. Ian Deeney and Ben Walker down in 17th and 18th for GB at the moment. Ben Walker with a very good start from the back. But they've got Nazhchenko and Pahomenkov to worry about. Just ahead, Horbanov right in amongst the Brits, trying to break it all up a little bit. Yakinen is in 14th, holding up these two behind him of Ben Walker and Scott McLean. Horbanov will try his best, and Jeff Perkins already conceded first to Soraya Garunian as they come up towards turn 3, breaking heavy down into the hairpin. Oh, and Romanenko, big undercut up the inside, taking a lot of that curb and gets past. It's domination so far from these two who dominated race 1 and part of race 2 as well, did Romanenko, but Romanenko's so far, as it stands, 3 top 2 placements. Oh, and a big push up the rear from Jeff Perkins. Romanenko just about hangs on to it. One of those team tactics from Jeff Perkins. But all GB need to do is get it to the end here with no drama. They're miles ahead of Ukraine at the moment. Viktor Gorik is doing very well in this race indeed, up to 8th place, right behind Shaposhnik, and Alex Fowler's got himself ahead. Down into the hairpin, a big lunge from Shaposhnik, and Foyle covers it off, and there was a lunge on towards Gorik from Alex Ward, but Ward goes wide, has to let through Lee Horn and Neil Crave. He will drop to 12th as he lets by Justin Welbelove as well. All the Brits are in the top 18 at the moment, 10 of them in the top 14, so this is not good for Ukraine, as Romanenko is up the inside of Garunian, who runs wide to try and let past Romanenko, presumably. Jamie Dory has got himself past Jeff Perkins running wide, maybe just letting him through to knowing that he's quicker. But Jamie Dory highest of the Brits, considering he had big drama on race 1. This has been a good comeback from Jamie. Shaposhnik right behind Alex Foyle. Foyle pushing him all the way to the edge of the track. They come down towards turn 1. Shaposhnik still up the inside slightly. Foyle will take a wider line to try and get more power through the corner. Still side by side, and just ahead of him nips Alex Foyle. Shaposhnik has been very much the source of a lot of elbows out driving today. Usually receiving it, I'll be honest. A couple from him, a couple to him. And he takes a look to the inside for turn 3. Can't quite make it. This is Romanenko right behind Garunian, just pushing him along. Although Ukraine have won every race so far, they're not winning when it comes to the Cup. Britain have scored way more points as it stands. We'll just remind you of the points going into this race. A lot of points between them. Oh, excuse me. There we go. And look at this. This is Romanenko up the inside and will take first place from Garunian, as Jamie Dory is now becoming a threat to these two. Romanenko might be able to pull away, is what Garunian is thinking, but Jamie Dory right up on the rear of Garunian is going to start straight away on the shenanigans and the outside, and a little bit of contact going into the previous corner. Romanenko breaks away a little bit. Here's Jamie Dory looking all over the rear of Soraya Garunian. Will try everything to get past and try and get a win for GB today. Tries the outside into turn 13. Oh, and a bit of a back off and a hit up the rear of Garunian, who will try and hold up Jamie Dory, I presume, so Romanenko can break away. Romanenko easily the quickest man on the track, as today has told. And is that Jamie Dory up the inside? I think it might be. No, not quite enough. Garunian gives him room despite having the corner. Dory will have to try again on another corner. Perkins behind him there in 4th place, and behind him is William Foyle. Let's have a look further back as Ben Walker is in 14th. And look at that crocodile of British cars from 9th to 15th, with Scott McLean heading them off, but holding up a fair few Ukrainians of Horbanov, Nazhchenko and Yakinen, who has got Ian Deeney to worry about behind him as well. Look at Scott McLean take one for the team and just held up these guys. And look at Horbanov, he'll try the inside, and big defending there from Scott McLean, going into 3rd corner off the track. Fraser Rostons has done well to catch back up after the DNF in race 1. He's in 14th, right on the back of this British train here, running all the way to 9th place. And right in front of them is Victor Goric and Sapochnik. Alex Foyle holding them up, hopefully for Britain. They can get past these guys, but these guys, Sapochnik and Goric, will be trying desperately to get past William Foyle and catch up with 3rd, 4th and 5th. Goric, will he defend the inside? No, and not a lunge from Sapochnik on Foyle. These two need to do something quick if they want to get up towards the top 3. They're losing a lot of time at the moment. You just saw the battle for 3rd place go past you then. And Goric makes his way past, as that might have been a slowdown for Sapochnik there. Backs off a lot. I wonder, it didn't say he had a slowdown. But his car seems okay, so it must have been. But he's back up the inside of Wellbluff, but that is bad news for Ukraine. But Goric gets past, or alongside, should I say, of Alex Foyle. Still has the inside coming up towards turn 1 very, very soon. Oh, and Goric still looking to him, but manages to tuck back behind. That is Alex Foyle's exhaust, we can see there. Coming into turn 1. Oh, and a hit up the rear from Alex Foyle. From Goric on Alex Foyle. But Foyle keeps hold of it very, very well indeed. Track limit abuse for Victor Goric, running wide at turn 1, it must have been. And he'll have to serve that somehow. He might have already. Sometimes these track limits penalties wipe out just by driving a little bit slower on the straight or the corners. And look at this, defending from Wellbluff on Sapochnik yet again. These two meet like they did in race 2. Wellbluff hangs on to 9th ahead of Sapochnik. He'll be very frustrated right now. Will Nikita? Oh, and Wellbluff now at the inside of Victor Goric as well. Wellbluff has definitely been the entertainer today. A little bit of a nudge up the rear of Goric and gets up the inside. Wellbluff will take the position from Goric. A little bit of contact involved, but he gets himself into 8th place. And on the outside of Sapochnik now is Neil Crave. Back up the inside goes Victor Goric on Justin Wellbluff, and Wellbluff will try the undercut now to get past. Yes, he does. But Sapochnik has stayed ahead of Neil Crave, but Justin Wellbluff takes 8th position. And now there's 6 Brits between Goric and the top 2, his other teammates. With 5 Brits behind these 2 Ukrainian teammates here. Just broken into the top 10. But it's still good battling between Scott McLean and Najichenko. Battle for the top 15 between these two. Nazariy Garunian has broken away a little bit from Jamie Dury and has caught up with his teammate Romanenko. So although we're saying Romanenko's the quickest man on the track, Nazariy Garunian is not far off it either. We've got to be honest. Victor Goric right behind Justin Wellbluff. Let's take a look from the onboard. He'll try to the inside. Later on the brakes than Justin Wellbluff. Oh, and a bit of door rubbing. Managed to gap there, but an undercut from Justin Wellbluff. Door-to-door contact coming down the straight now between the two. But Justin Wellbluff tucks back in. But this has allowed Lee Horn ahead of Goric to break away ever so slightly. Yakinin, who was having a good race, has got a slowdown penalty there in 19th. And look at this battle. Ian Deeney's got ahead of Najichenko there. And that's put all the Brits into the top 16. Romanenko close to Garunian. That's Foyle still battling with Goric. Goric will have the outside coming into turn 5 and turn 6. But tries an undercut and a bit of hit up the rear. Both go sideways and they go into each other, the two Ukrainians. Goric and Sapochnik both took each other out, it seems, and dropped more places. 10th and 11th they now are. And Sapochnik is up the inside yet again. Ben Walker has broke back into the top 10, having started at the back. Brilliant comeback from Ben Walker and just nicks that position from Sapochnik and Goric. But that was a big sigh of relief from Team GB because it looked like Foyle had been taken out by Goric, but it didn't turn out to be the case. Now there's 4 Cupras ahead, right ahead of Shpoznik here, rather than 3. It was 2 in fact before. Into turn 13 they go, and an undercut. A little bit of contact on the rear of Ben Walker. He gets past Ben Walker. Ben Walker's not giving up. Oh, side contact. Ben Walker nips back in front. Shpoznik has very much got his elbows out in this race. Slowdown penalty yet again for Victor Goric. Let's get on board with Victor to see his view. He drops off a little bit from Shpoznik to let him back through. That in turn might have conceded a little bit of time to Neil Crave and Ward, who got a big lunge up the rear, had to back out of it to prevent taking out Goric. But Goric has dropped off a lot from 10th place compatriot Shpoznik. He'll try the inside of Alexander Foyle. Oh, and very slow at the back there. Goric is serving a slowdown now, I think, as he lets by Alex Ward and Neil Crave. Oh, big drama for Ukraine here. Only 3 drivers in the top 10. The rest of their drivers just outside the top 12 as Goric battles back to get back into the top 12. Can't quite do it though. Neil Crave gets back ahead. Oh, and look at that big lunge from Shpoznik, getting right past Alex Foyle, right behind him there, but Foyle will carry on battling round the corner. Foyle will cut him off here. No, he'll give him room. Good fair play from Alex Foyle, and Shpoznik gets himself back into 9th place by the looks of it, unless Foyle can get an undercut. That was a big move around the outside from Shpoznik, and managed to execute it well in the end. Back into the top 10. And 9th place for Shpoznik. Now he'll try and catch up with Ben Walker ahead of him. Ben Walker, by the way, come from 23rd on the grid to be 8th right now. Really impressive from him. Now Romanenko, something's happened to him at some point. Our auto director not working, as something's happened to him. He's dropped to 5th place from 1st. That promotes Jamie Dory and Jeff Purkis onto the podium. Now William Full has to try and defend from Romanenko with 5 minutes to go. Without working out the points, it's definitely going to be a Team GB win tonight as it stands, unless anything happens. Shpoznik right alongside Alex Foyle again. Alex Foyle tucks behind Shpoznik again. There's Ben Walker right behind Justin Wellbeloved. Foyle taking a look at Shpoznik. Will not let him get away. Has the inside coming out of the corner, but I think Shpoznik has a better run. Yes, he does. And now coming up towards turn 2. Foyle will need a good run through here. A later turn in from Shpoznik, who will get the better run out the corner. Not Alex Foyle. He's not gaining on him coming out of this corner. Romanenko gets his way past William Full in the hairpin there. Oh, and a big hit up the rear from William Full. Puts Romanenko wide. Side by side coming around turn 6. Into turn 7 they go. Romanenko pushing William Full out wide. Into the hairpin they go. William Full has to concede that one, but tries the undercut. Not going to make it quite yet. Foyle following closely of Romanenko. Romanenko teased with Jeff Purkis a little bit there, but ultimately was guarding the position he's holding from William Full. Romanenko will now try onto Jeff Purkis, who had a bad run coming out of the complex there. Coming up towards turn 13, Jeff Purkis will have to defend the inside from Romanenko. This is the view from William Full. Jeff Purkis goes hard on the inside to defend. Romanenko tries the outside, and William Full will try and get his nose up the inside of Romanenko. Oh, and Purkis goes wide. Purkis has gone very wide there. Just let go of the wheel and it's put him out wide. Foyle gets into 4th place, but Romanenko gets back into the top 3. Jamie Dory, by the way, 1.8 seconds behind. He is slower, unfortunately, than Zorya Garunian. So Zorya Garunian will take the as it stands, the third win of the night for Ukraine, unless anything happens, like what happened to Romanenko, who's now back into the top 3. But it's still got William Foyle to worry about. Sapochnik has a slowdown, as does Lee Horn. Coming out of turn 1 there for those guys. Pushing every ounce they can out of the cars to try and get a bit more time on the car ahead, or the car behind if they're defending. Big battle going on here for 15th place. Scott McLean versus Nadjichenko and Ian Deeney versus Horbanov. McLean hangs on, coming through turn 2 there. Ian Deeney taking a look to 16th place, but not quite. Nadjichenko will hang on to it, guard the inside. Oh, and contact between Ian Deeney and himself. On a big switchback by Ian Deeney, got him out of shape there. I can't quite select Ian Deeney, but he seems to be okay. Horbanov will take the position of 17th there, and Scott McLean still hanging on to 15th. Seems to be his favourite position tonight, defending very, very well ahead of these guys all night. Back with Romanenko. Broken away a little tiny bit from William Foyle. But I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch up with Jamie Dory. He's dropping off 10th by 10th from Zaraya Garunian. But as Zaraya Garunian starts his final lap, I think it is rather fitting that he might win this race. As he's put on this whole event, so big congratulations to him for putting on this entire great event, by the way. Love to see more of these. Love to see more countries get involved against Britain, against Ukraine. I know a lot of Swedish and Scandinavian drivers who could get involved. There's a lot of Italian drivers on RaceRoom. It's definitely something we could think about for the future, countries going up against one another. But for Zaraya of the Kiev Automotive Club, thank you for putting on this event today. And with that, he can have our Driver of the Day award. Rather fitting, seeing as he's on course to win this race. But we're going to resume with a bit more racing as look at that side by side. Nadjichenko and Scott McLean coming around turn 1 here. Ian Deeney not to forget about either, as is Horbanov coming up towards turn 2. Oh, and Scott McLean going a little bit out of shape there, and that could have been ugly from Scott McLean. But he hangs on for the minute, and Nadjichenko breaks away just a little bit from McLean. Towards the inside goes Horbanov. He's not able to get there. We'll try the outside instead. Into turn 3 they go. McLean hangs onto it and hangs onto it well, but an undercut very cunningly from Horbanov, and Scott McLean goes wide. That'll concede the position. Ian Deeney will get past as well, and McLean drops to 18th. We're looking at Fraser Rostons as well. He's battling with Victor Gorick, who ahead of him has got Alex Ward. Sapochnik is right behind Justin Welbler as well. These two have met before in race 2. Oh, and side-by-side action between them. Sapochnik will try the outside. Can he hang on to it to the next corner? No. Justin Welbler just about gets it in front. But we got to switch to the leader, as the organiser of this event will bring home Ukraine's 3rd race win of the night. It's not going to be a win when it comes to points for Ukraine, but they've definitely dominated that top spot of the podium. Zaraya Garunian, the organiser of this event, comes through to win race 3. A big win for him, with Jamie Dory with a big comeback since race 1. Comes through in 2nd. He'll be pleased with that. Konstantin Romanenko completes 3 top 3 placements tonight. William Foyle coming through in 4th place. Jeff Perkis in 5th. Lee Horn in 6th. Ben Walker comes through 7th with Justin Welbler in 8th. Sapochnik with big battling comes through 9th in the end with Alexander Foyle in 10th. Neil Crave comes through in 11th for GB, and Alex Ward in 12th. Victor Gorick comes through in 13th. Fraser Rostons 14th. Nadjichenko in 15th with Horbanov 16th. Ian Deeney comes through 17th with Yakinin in 18th. Scott McLean dropped to 19th on that final lap from 15th. Shame for him. Pahamenkov, Batty, Bidney and Klapan round out the final 4 placements. But your winner is Zaraya Garunian tonight. And while we wait for this race to conclude, I'm going to try and quickly do the points so we can stay on air. Don't go away while we wrap this up. So there we go. There's the roundup of results. Soraya Grunin takes the win with Jamie Dory in second, Romanenko third, William Full in fourth with Jeff Perkis in fifth. And I'll just wrap up the final results here so we can get the points up rather sharpish. So we'll break away to here while we just wrap up the points. We'll be concluding it very shortly. William Ford doing donuts out there very badly. The results are done and we're going to reveal them in just a few seconds. So there we go. We can confirm that Team GB have won tonight's event. A bonus point going to Ukraine, which I forgot to add, but so it's 760 points for Ukraine tonight. But on 1,068 points, Team GB win this showdown between Great Britain and Ukraine. The race winners, we've got to give notable mentions to them. Konstantin Romanenko winning race 1, a big hats off to him. Nikita Chapoznik winning race 2 with a big battle between him and Justin Welblove in that race, and race 3 won by the organiser himself, Soraya Garunian. It's been a fantastic event, so thank you all for watching. Please do follow, like and subscribe to Crest Autosport channels, and of course the Kiev Auto Moto Club. Give them a follow as well, as I believe they'll be doing more of these World Cup style events in the future. My name's been Alex Everett. I've been your commentator today. On Tuesday, we have got the Crest Autosport DTM 2020s round 4 at Salzburg Ring. Please do tune in to watch that. Other than that, we will catch you very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.